With the rising cost of housing in California, many hardworking families and individuals are finding it increasingly difficult to save up enough money for a down payment, let alone to qualify for a mortgage. That's where the CalHFA Dream for All program steps in. The California Housing Finance Authority, or CalHFA for short, recently implemented this program. The program will provide up to 20% of the purchase price or a home's value, whichever is less, to be used toward down payment and or closing costs. Now there is a caveat to this, in that this is not a grant. This is a silent second interest-free loan. Let's not get that part confused. It's not a grant, it's a loan that will need to be repaid at some point in time. Additionally, there's a shared appreciation component to the program where the state will essentially take a portion of the appreciation that a homeowner has built up over time. I'll explain how that works as well as the triggering events later in this video, so make sure that you stick around. But for now, I'm gonna run down who's eligible, what types of properties are eligible, and then I'll get into the gist of how the program works. One of the first things you'll need to know is that this is a conventional loan. So you're gonna have to get approved through a CalHFA approved lender. Now with that, that means that there are certain credit, income limits, and loan requirements that you're going to have to need to make. So for instance, for this specific program, the minimum credit score is a 680, and that means you have to have a DTI or debt to income ratio of 45%. However, if you have credit scores of 700 or more, that DTI shoots to 50%. That's huge. It doesn't seem like it would be a lot, but that's huge just in terms of what it means for your purchasing power. Now with that come conforming loan limits. So for us here, it's $726,200. But if you live in a high cost area, such as let's say Los Angeles, that limit jumps up to a higher balance of $1,089,300. Now keep this in mind as well, is that if you are going to purchase a house that goes over those conforming loan limits, then you're gonna have to pay a fee. And that fee can range anywhere from 1.15 to 1.3% of the purchase price. So in this instance, if it's right at the conforming loan limits, you're looking at fees that could be anywhere between $12,500 and $14,800. Now this program cannot, I must stress that, cannot be combined with other CalHFA programs. And there's minimum and maximum loan to value amounts. The minimum LTV is 70% and the maximum is 105%, which means at a bare minimum, you can use the state's 20%, come with 10% out of your own pocket to meet that 70% LTV threshold. Now you might be wondering, how in the world am I going to get 105% loan to value if the state is only loaning out 20%? And I can't combine this with any other CalHFA programs. Well, you ask very good questions on YouTube. And here's the deal. You can combine this with other non-CalHFA DPA programs. However, those loans have to meet certain Fannie Mae community second guidelines, and they have to be in second position or subordinate position to the shared appreciation loan that you're gonna get. So in essence, you could have 3 mortgages, 2 of them being silent, or you don't have to pay on them until certain triggering events happen. And I'm gonna touch on those triggering events later on in this video. So again, make sure you stay tuned. Now, other requirements is that you have to be a first-time home buyer as defined by the guidelines. And a first-time home buyer in this instance is anybody who has not owned or been on title for a property in the last 3 years. This also must be your primary resident, which means that if you have a co-signer or a co-borrower, they don't allow that unless it is also their primary residence. Additionally, you have to occupy the home within 60 days of the closing date, which means that if the seller is doing a rent back or you're gonna offer that in your deal, then the seller has to be out and you have to be in no later than 60 days after the closing date. Now this is a statewide program, so there are income limits and you're gonna need to make sure that you meet the income requirements for the specific county that you're purchasing in. So for example, I'm in Los Angeles County, our income requirement is $180,000. Keep in mind, this $180,000 is per household. Also, if you're interested in participating in this program, you're gonna have to complete 2 levels of home buyer educational counseling. Now, you're also gonna have to get a certificate from each one of these counseling sessions. One of them is an 8-hour course. I believe if you take it online, it's $99. You can take it virtual, but it has to be through a certified agency, and the fees are gonna vary depending on where you go. The other one is free, and that's the CalHFA Shared Appreciation Homebuyer Counseling course. It just kind of educates you on what the shared appreciation component of this program entails. Now, the types of properties that you can purchase can range anywhere from a single family residence, a condo, to a manufactured home. And they literally can be anywhere in the state of California. Not to mention this last piece that kind of goes under the radar, but you can also use it to purchase an ADU. Now, an ADU is an accessory dwelling unit, what we call a granny flat or an in-law quarters, something along those lines. But there are certain requirements that they have to meet. But you can purchase a granny flat or an ADU utilizing this program, again, just as long as it meets certain criteria. So if you're looking for somebody that's trying to house hack or do anything like that, this program is not going to work for you. It is only for single family residents, condos, or manufactured homes. You can't use this for any dwelling that is 2 units or more. So again, if you're trying to house hack or do something like that, it's not going to work. So my grandmother used to have this expression, and she used to say, all free money ain't free. And this is definitely the case with this program. There is a component called shared appreciation. But before I go into that, I would really appreciate if you would hit the like and subscribe buttons. Make sure you tap that bell so that you're notified every time I upload new videos, and share this out to other people who would enjoy and benefit from this content. It just lets YouTube know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and other people are really enjoying this content. So please hit that like and subscribe button right now. Did you see what I did there? Shared appreciation. You get it? You get it? Anyway, what is shared appreciation? Well, YouTube, again, you asked some very good questions. So upon sale or transfer of the property, the homeowner is going to pay back the original down payment loan plus a share of the appreciation of the home's value. How much of the appreciation is really going to be determined by income. And specifically, what they're going to look at is the AMI, or area median income. And it's really just a fancy way of saying the median household income of a specific area. So any borrower whose income is above 80% of the AMI and whose income is equal than or less than the CalHFA income limits is going to go on a 1-to-1 program appreciation share. And what that essentially means is if you borrow 20%, then your appreciation share is going to be 20%. Any borrower whose income is less than 80% of the AMI is going to go on a 0.75-to-1 program appreciation share. In essence, what that means is if you borrow 20%, then your appreciation share will be 15%. That's 20% times 0.75, which gives you your 15%. So here's an example. Suppose you're looking at an $800,000 house. You're going to get 20% for the DFA program. So that's the Dream for All. I'm just going to call it DFA. You're going to get 20% of that for the DFA loan, so that's $160,000. Your other conventional loan was going to take care of the rest, so that's $640,000. So there's your $800,000 all in right there, right? Now let's just assume that the home sold 5 years later for $950,000. So the appreciation amount is going to be the difference between $950,000 and the $800,000 that you originally purchased it at. So the appreciation is $150,000 in this example. Now you're selling the home, so the appreciation piece is going to kick in, right? So you're going to pay back the $160,000 that you borrowed originally, that's the DFA loan, plus the appreciation percent, which is 20% of the appreciated value. In this case, $150,000 is the appreciated value. 20% of that is $30,000. So you're going to be paying back $160,000 plus another $30,000 for $190,000. But let's just assume that the loan payoff is $640,000. I know it's not going to be that because in 5 years you will have paid down some of the principal, but let's just keep it vanilla for the sake of this example. So you're going to pay back $640,000 plus $160,000 for the DFA loan, plus another $30,000 for the shared appreciation piece of it. All in all, you're looking at $830,000 that you're going to pay back. But you're selling the house for $950,000. So that means you are going to walk away with $120,000 in your pocket. Now, I'm not counting any escrow or closing costs as well as realtor fees, but you get the gist of it. You came in with pretty much nothing and you walked out with some cash. One thing that I like about the shared appreciation component of it is that it has a cap. it's capped at 2.5 times the original loan amount. So if you were loaned out $160,000, for instance, in our previous example, then that would be $400,000 plus the $160,000 that you borrowed, which means all in you'd be at $560,000. The likelihood of having to repay back so much is very unlikely. It could happen, but again, I don't think that it would. Another piece to this that I really like, if the home doesn't appreciate in value, then all you have to pay back is the DFA loan. So remember when I talked about those triggering events? The shared appreciation component of it is payable when one of the following things happens. The property is sold, there's a transfer in title, the first loan is refinanced. Now there's one exception to that, which is really, really cool if you can take advantage of it. Now during the life of the shared appreciation loan, CalHFA will allow borrowers to refinance the first mortgage loan into a single limited cash out refinance without requiring immediate repayment of the shared appreciation loan. That's a one-time and one-time only thing, and you have to comply with CalHFA's resubordination policy. So make sure you look into that, because it's just not open for everybody and you can only do it one time. So if you're planning on refinancing, make sure that that one time you do it is the right time. Now others are if you pay off the first loan or if you pay off the second loan, which is the DFA loan. I don't know why you would do that, because it's an interest-free silent second. So you don't have to repay it until you either sell or refi or do something like that. But some people might choose to do that. Why? I don't know. It wouldn't really benefit you to do that anyway. So just make sure if you're going to pay it off, when you do pay off that second, it's going to kick in that shared appreciation component of it. The other piece that does this is if there is a registered notice of default on the property. Now, one big question I've been getting from people is what happens when the funds eventually run out? None of us really knows what's going to happen. So here's the deal. The state only allocated $300 million for this program. So let's just assume that the median home price in California is $800,000, which I believe it is. That means that if everybody who is in the program took out the loan, they'd each get $160,000. Well, that means that only 1,875 borrowers would be able to participate in the program. And when these funds run out, we don't know whether the state is going to replenish them, because the big piece of this is that the replenishment is going to come from people who actually participated in the program. So that shared appreciation component actually gets thrown back into the pot to kind of re-up the ante, so to speak. But those people are probably not going to do that for 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. So who knows when the replenishment of those funds is going to take place. Bottom line is, if you're looking to get into this program or take advantage of the resource, you should look into doing that right now. I've had clients hit me up pretty much all week asking me whether they should do it. My answer for some of them was absolutely yes. And I've actually sent them to CalHFA approved lenders so that they can go through the process. So again, if you want to participate in the program, just make sure that you are acting diligently and not shucking and jiving and kicking your feet, because when the money's gone, I don't know what's going to happen. However, I do want you to know that this is not the only down payment assistance program out there. If you're looking for a program that can help you to get into home ownership, schedule a one-on-one with me. I'll leave the link for that in the description below. And until then, I want you to watch these two videos right here.